Hello, adventurers! Thanks for checking out the Storyteller Squad. My name is Natalie, and I'm the producer, editor, and keeper for this podcast actual play series. I'm popping back to these, our earlier episodes, from the future to let all you new listeners know how much we truly appreciate you starting the show. You might be new to Monster of the Week, or maybe you're new to the actual play genre entirely. In either case, we're glad to have you with us. The squad and I have been playing this game and telling our story since 2021, so there's lots ahead for you to enjoy. But before I send you into the episode, let me tell you about a couple other options for how you can start listening. Obviously, you can just stay here. Skip past my little time travel disclaimer and start right at the beginning. But full transparency, you'll notice right away that our audio gets a lot better over time. If you don't mind a highlight reel and would like to skip past the episodes where we were joined by summertime crickets, we've produced a pair of recap episodes which summarize and condense all the exciting events of our first 2 seasons. My personal recommendation? Check out the recap for Season 1. Then decide if you want to become a completionist and come back for all the juicy Season 1 details. Or if by then you're ready to start listening to full episodes, pick up with Season 2 and beyond. And if you're just looking to sample what our show is like, you could also try starting with our Episode 00 two-shot. Part 1 and Part 2 present a short mini-arc that offers a nice snapshot of who our characters are and the sort of play and post-production you can expect from more current episodes of the Storyteller Squad. Especially now, with all our years of podcasting experience. What a weird thing to be able to say. I guess we're doing it. However you decide to listen, I'm so excited for you to meet the squad and experience what we like to refer to as the 10 hours lo-fi and chill for autumnal lesbians and witchy cryptids of actual play podcasts. See you in the future, adventurers.
The world is full of wonders.
Magic is hidden in small moments.
And monsters could be hiding just out of sight.
But if you're looking to find them,
adventure is waiting to happen.
You never know who you'll meet along the way.
We are the Storyteller Squad. Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Last time, we left you with a bit of a cliffhanger, so who wants to give us a brief summary of what happened?
Damien was minding his own business when he noticed some police officers in a car, and they seemed like an awfully fun thing to do. That led to his arrest and Agent Winokur hot on his trail, winding up at the sheriff's office, in which he was questioned by Whitaker and the sheriff about murder, clearly not Damien's style. And Agent Whitaker went off and to come back a later day for more questions and more information. And then Damien waltzes off, and then they meet up at the coffee shop with Bethany, where Agent Whitaker has been talking. And at this point in the timeline, other things have happened that other people should speak up for.
Yeah, we did sort of a classic pilot episode where everyone was sort of scattered to the four corners of this small town in Washington State where our story takes place. We had some reunions happen. We had our three sort of, just three normal, college grads who live in a town. Maybe they live a town over. They knew each other once. Now they're reacquainted in a strange set of happenstances. Suffice to say, there was a murder, and you guys were all sort of swept up in the investigation / aftermath of that murder, whether it was the person who died was a friend of your coworker, you were told by some strange little spirits that it was time to make new friends again. Maybe you just sort of went with the flow, but were open to strangeness. And we all wound up in Chase Warren's house, where he and his girlfriend Inari had been staying. Everyone sort of wound up there because of a distress call, a phone call for help. Taylor, who is Bethany's coworker at the Starbucks in Vernal Springs, he called sounding in distress.
something had gone wrong when he went to go visit Inari to check on her. And when you all arrived and crept into the house of Chase and Inari's, you found the bath running and a monster. Your very first one, and signs of a struggle. And Aidan found Damien, I believe, upstairs.
Helping.
Yeah, helping.
He got better.
So they found Taylor up on the second floor while everyone else was sort of dealing with this large fox down on the first floor in the living room. And I believe we ended with our 3 college grads, Bethany, Felicity, and Raven, all sort of huddled together Scooby-Doo style in the blood house.
As you go running in with the scream-a-sticks going.
The kitsune, which is this monster you all are now fighting, whether you know to call it that or not, had attacked Agent Whitaker and wounded him when he tried to fire on it. But when you all sort of arrived into the living room, it was distracted from its dealings with him and turned to face you. And in a shine of light, angelic wings shimmered in the air and a barrier appeared in front of you all to protect you. Your friend Aidan threw up her hand and caught the clawed mitt as it's snarling and struggling to fight back against her. And she looked back a little bit worried, realizing that now there were quite a few people here to protect and a monster that probably none of you are prepared to deal with. That's where we left off. As origin stories are, it's sort of tough to quick travel through a summary of them. But we're here now. And so, at the beginning of every Monster of the Week game, there are things we need to do. Do any of you guys in your character playbooks have something that you're supposed to do at the start of a mystery? It would be one of your moves that you're allowed to do.
I do.
I think I do too.
I have connect the dots. So at the beginning of each mystery, if I look for the wider patterns that current events might be part of, I roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. And then I can spend my hold during the mystery to ask the keeper any of the following questions. And then I have some questions that I can ask.
Let's do it. In our frozen moment of time, Raven is hit with a flash of her mind, piecing things together.
That's an 8. So I get to hold 1.
You get 1 question off your list of fun questions that you get to ask.
Let's see. Do I have to ask it right now? I think
I'm
I can
not sure.
wait.
I think you can hang on to it and just wait. You
just
have a question you're allowed to ask.
Yeah, I don't think any of these questions are super relevant right now. We just don't know enough.
Then we'll move on to Felicity.
Cool. I have premonitions. At the start of each mystery, roll plus weird. On a 10 plus, you get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen. You take 1 forward. 7 or 9, you get a clouded image. Mark experience if you stop it. On a miss, you get vision of something bad happening to you, and the keeper holds 3 to be spent 1 for 1 as penalties to rolls you make.
Let's see those spooky powers of yours kick in.
Fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah, this was how you wound up in the blood house.
So I got a 12.
Okay, that's pretty good for you, right?
Yes.
I don't have all your playbooks pulled up, but I guess I have the book in front of me.
Yeah, so I get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen. You take plus 1 forward to prevent it coming true, and mark experience if you stop it.
Okay.
That seems kind of broad, but...
All right, a detailed vision of something bad?
Something bad that is yet to happen. Yep.
Okay.
Just a dead Agent Whitaker.
Just make sure he doesn't die, and I guess.
Yeah. All right. You get another vision, like the one that sort of set you on this quest to come here with these 2 other girls that you knew a long time ago, and then were sort of motivated by your premonition that, I need to be with them again, or we're going to be in trouble. The previous premonition sort of plays out in your mind, and Aidan arrives to protect you. You get another flash of this future sight that you possess. The 3 of you are still together, but you are sitting in a prison cell. You're in some sort of holding cell. There's an office in front that you can see. One of the local sheriffs sitting there doing some paperwork. Raven is very upset. She's distraught. Bethany is doing her best to comfort her, and you're sort of looking around to see where your little spirit friend Ghosty went, because he's missing.
Oh no.
Flash, and you're back. And so that's your premonition of a thing that may likely happen, given how predictable your visions seem to be. Does
Okay.
anybody else have a start of mystery move that they make?
So I have one, but I think it might be too late.
Oh,
When you're in good standing with your sect at the beginning of each mystery, roll plus charm. On a 10 plus, they provide useful information or help in the field. On a 7 to 9, you get a mission associated with the mystery, and if you do it, you'll get some info or help too. And on a miss, they ask you to do something bad. If you fail a mission or refuse an order, you will be in trouble with your sect until you atone.
do you roll for it?
Yes.
Why don't you roll, and I'll hang on to the results and work them in so they fit narratively.
Got a 5.
So they have to ask you to do something bad?
It's time to break the law.
So,
Law, breaking the law.
And I don't see that ever going well because I have a -1 to charm, so.
Oh, well, that's interesting then, because we're gonna have to figure out why you're in such like bad standing, or why they continue to like push your boundaries in terms of what they want you to do. They asked you to do something bad, huh? We'll get to that. But until then, there's a monster in the room, everybody. There's no initiative. We'll just sort of take turns as it makes sense and as people get ideas based on what they want to do. Aidan basically has just done the move protect someone and used some ability of hers to throw up a barrier, which is protecting all of you from the kitsune's attack. And it's sort of snarling and looks a little put off. Like its eyes are wide. It's sort of like looking less so at you now and right at her, almost like it's confused, like it doesn't know what the deal is. Like that shouldn't have happened. She's not quite sure what Aidan is. So who would like to make a move? I'm not allowed to make the monster do anything until you guys do something. So
I would like, since shooting her didn't seem to go very well, what kind of you mentioned there were some like cool like decorations in this house. Are there any like banners that I could just like rip off the wall real quick?
There's some like large curtains.
Curtains, or maybe like a little tapestry, or
yeah.
Or is it possible I could grab some large thing of fabric from the wall or from wherever's closest and throw it in the kitsune's face to kind of distract it and blind it, so if anyone wants to attack or run away, it would help them do so. Is that something you think I could accomplish in one?
Yeah, I think this would be sort of Agent Whitaker trying to maybe not win a fight, but secure the safety of pedestrians. You know, you are an agent after all, and the public's well-being is probably top on your list of things, if not the top. I will say you need to act under pressure for this, because it's sort of a making do with what you've got maneuver, and also you're bleeding. I mean, she slashed.
For sure.
She slashed you pretty good, and also there was that moment before the other hunters sort of interrupted her, where she was sort of warping the space around you somehow, and that was really freaky. So you need like to push past that initial fear effect in order to pull off this protection move you're trying to do.
So that'd be a 9, I think. 2 + 4 plus my 3 bonus for cool.
All right, a 9 is a mixed success. You get a worse outcome, a hard choice, or a price to pay. I'm going to say this, Agent Whitaker. If you would like to succeed at this and sort of wrap it up, you're going to put yourself close enough to her again, and she'll probably lash out with her claws at whatever's trying to restrain her. So you're going to put yourself in harm's way if you do this.
I'll take that risk for now. I don't think I'll take it again, but I'll take that risk for now.
Okay. What happens is when you're a little woozy, you're grabbing at this thing, you throw it around her while she's like watching Aidan very closely. It's like acting like a dog that's seeing something for the first time that it doesn't understand. And while you capitalize on that distraction to throw this over her head and kind of blind her for a moment, but then you are knocked as one of her like large back legs moves around. It pushes another vase off a table, which shatters, and you're thrown against the wall. You'll take 1 harm from that.
Reduced to 0.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, because you have a special suit, right?
Beneath, and I guess you guys have noticed this now because she's taken a gash at it, he does have a flak vest underneath his suit.
And you know how to like slap fall, so when you kind of like get knocked and you roll, and just sort of like go with the momentum so you don't actually hit your head or anything. Nice. So for now, the kitsune's vision is sort of wrapped up. It's clawing and shredding these drapes or whatever that Agent Whitaker pulled down. And
I will also just like look back at the 3 teenagers entering the building. You all need to leave the premises immediately.
Can I go next?
Yeah, please.
Cool. Is there anything that's long around me, like something that I could use to hit them? Like the pole he pulled the drapes off of, or...
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not picturing that. There's like an overturned like large bowl if you wanted to like just smack them with like a big like bowl. It had like those like fake like ornament
like the
decorations.
Pine cones and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And they're clearly overturned everywhere, and a few have been smashed by the monsters like feet moving around. But yeah, there's this big like nice turned wooden bowl. They clearly got it at some sort of outdoor market.
All right, so I'm gonna try to hit her with that. But before I do, can I say something to the group?
Yeah, talking is free. And,
I love that.
You don't always have to like pick a move or whatever. Like this is a fight, but whatever you can think of to do to help, you can try it.
Cool. I'm gonna say, I don't think we should kill her. I don't think we should kill her. I think if we kill her, we'll get in trouble. And then I'm gonna try to. I'm working towards like knocking her out. So I'm just gonna like bonk her.
So I think because you're gonna actually physically try to hit her, you're gonna roll kick some ass.
Okay. Surprisingly, Felicity is pretty
And
tough.
does she get a +1 forward because of the banner and stuff?
Yeah. You can have
that is
one
why
forward.
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Ooh, that's not a good reaction though. What'd you get?
I got 2 ones.
Okay. Pretty bad fail. Yep.
Mark experience.
Yep.
Mark experience. No one believes me.
Well, I think what happens is you say, we're gonna get in trouble if we kill her, but maybe like they don't realize, they're like, it's a monster. So no one is backing you up on this move, and you run up with the bowl to try and like whack her, and even without seeing you, like while she's ripping off the drapes, she just sort of spins around, and that long fluffy tail actually kind of cracks you, and you hit the sofa, you hit it and double over the back of it. Like it's just Felicity ragdolls a little bit. So you'll take a harm from that.
Okay.
I don't think she has any special gear to protect her at the moment.
No.
So you definitely hit your head when you land, and like it's not fun. The monster just knocked you across the room. Aidan, when she sees that happen, she probably like reached out to be like, no, don't, and like just missed grabbing you. And so she is gonna turn to Bethany and Raven. You should probably get out of here. And she's gonna run around the couch to try and see to Felicity.
So
you go first.
All right. So
it's good Damien in the game.
After Aidan is like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm helping. And Aidan's like, hey, get away. Let's go. And Aidan runs. Damien goes like he's going to go down, but he immediately goes to the closet. Does the owner of this house have a suit?
Yes. Chase Warren would have had a suit that he wore for business interviews. Yes.
Okay. Damien's going to take the suit. Doesn't matter. He's got his suit now. Damien's going to toss the suit on like sort of the unconscious body of Taylor, and then just pick him up and carry him down the stairs.
Okay. Like over the shoulder? Like fireman?
It depends where the wound is. If he's like struck in the chest, I'm not going to fireman carry him over my shoulder. So I just imagine like, sort of in between the arms.
Okay, yeah. So you sort of awkwardly carry this poor unconscious barista down the stairs.
Yeah, and like I've draped the suit on top of him, so I've got both.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for fun, you've like covered his vision, so he's just sort of under there, like he's unable to see what's gonna happen, and that's gonna be important later. But yeah, so you come downstairs, and
I imagine him like turning to like, hey, I've got, and like immediately sees the kitsune, and it's like, back to the car, get him to safety.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's nothing there that I would say is like something a normal person couldn't do. So I think you're at least able to get down the stairs and like assess the scene. You might want to change what Damien is like most focused on after someone else goes. But Bethany, what were you gonna do?
I actually, now that I see Damien coming down the stairs, I'm focused on helping him get my friend out. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Is he is the kitsune focused on him at all, or are we good? Are we ready to?
No, I think at this point she has like shredded and like gnashes the drapes away from her face, so she has her vision back and is kind of now like splitting her attention between Agent Whitaker and Aidan. Aidan more so because she's still just like a little bit freaked. She's like, "What the heck did she do?" And also the agent who seems determined to keep assaulting her. She's less focused on the quivering, scared young lady in the other side of the room.
Yeah, so I'm gonna grab. I run over to Damien and I grab his arm and I start like kind of helping him guide him out and like kind of like helping carry, but I'm not very strong, so just kind of make a half carry.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kind of showing that like I'm also in on this and helping out, and I will help him get to the door.
All right. Why don't you roll help out then?
Yeah, for sure. Does this count as fighting a monster?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Why?
Oh wait, I don't have it selected anymore anyway. That's going to be one of my character traits for a while. That's a 7. That is not going to work.
Okay. 7, your help grants them +1, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger. This is perfect. So you actually going over to help Damien is movement, and the kitsune's eyes kind of catch that for a minute, but they follow where you're going and see Damien holding Taylor, and she sort of growls it just across the room. No! She kind of like gets down on all fours. The fur on her back like bristles, and it does that like wave of potential energy as she sort of rears back to maybe leap at you. But I'm gonna say that's called the soft move, where I say bad things are gonna happen. And so now you guys get a chance to react before that does.
I pull off my heel and I throw it at her face.
Anybody want to step in?
I have a thing to try.
Okay.
Yes.
Hell yeah, go for it, Hugo.
I'm going to try to crack these scrimmage sticks together, slam them on the ground, and use some magic. Specifically, the one that lets you trap a specific person, minion, or monster.
Okay. Is this a play from the Initiates thing?
No, it's just the regular magic casting.
Oh, just to use magic? All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this. How do you envision... Well, we should establish this, right? How do you envision Hugo's magic working? What is he drawing on? Is it just sort of ancient maneuvers he was taught somewhere, or something he's tapping into? Where do you feel makes sense for him?
Probably a combination of ancient maneuvers and a little bit of science. Just a little bit.
Okay. Are they like tonfas a little bit?
Oh, no, they're just regular sticks.
They're just sort of batons? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say you slam them onto the ground. Maybe the position you're using, you channel whatever like latent electricity is like running through the house with these and direct it, almost like a water dousing thing. And this launches over and sort of grabs at the kitsune's body. And although she's ready to pounce, you zap her and it tenses all her muscles even more so that she doesn't spring away right away. She's sort of getting electrocuted. So that will give them at least a little bit more time to get away before she tries to pursue. She doesn't really change her focus at all. She seems very upset that maybe Taylor is going to leave the house.
Did Hugo have to roll for that, or did that just happen?
I guess I just made it happen. We're gonna figure that out.
Go
ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll. I can retcon a consequence.
Well, I got a 13, so.
See, it was perfect.
It's fine.
Works fine.
Perfect.
Easy peasy.
Oh, and as this is happening, a little like Solid Snake exclamation point goes on top of Whitaker's head like,
What was that move? Raven, how you doing? Crazy stuff is popping off all around you.
Yeah, she's freaking out a little bit, but I think Raven would like to read a bad situation because she does not know what to do right now, and I think she needs to figure it out. 8 + 2, so I rolled a 10. On a 10+, I get to hold 3.
things are crazy, but your brain is keeping up. It's just you're processing so much all at once. You're sort of frozen there for a second where you're like, okay, monster. Hugo did something cool there. What is that guy carrying Taylor out for? Like, you're just like, everything is coming in, and now you have the ability to ask me some questions and maybe figure out what Raven's next move is.
All right, so are there any dangers we haven't noticed besides the big scary fox lady?
Besides the big scary fox lady.
Is there anything else that we should know about?
How's the house's structural integrity looking?
The house is fine. Everything, I mean, there's cracks and holes now in the drywall.
Any bananas? Any banana peels? Loose on the ground?
No. There's pine cones. I mean, that's going to hurt if you step on one barefoot. But yeah, there's no immediate danger aside from this creature that seems to want to go after your friend.
Okay.
Besides, like, knives in the kitchen and Agent Whitaker's gun.
Yeah, like, I mean, Agent Whitaker has a gun drawn, so there's that. But he seems to be fighting the monster, so you're sort of not worried about him just, like, shooting somebody randomly.
Okay. What is the best way to protect the victims?
Okay. This monster seems very, very focused on Taylor. Something about him and his relationship to this creature. If you can get him away from it, that might be enough to, like, get it to sort of stand down or run off or reassess its own plans.
Okay. And then I guess this one might be super obvious, but what's my best way out?
Your best way out is, well, I'll say this. Your best way out is the door you came in, because it's just sort of opens into the living room where you're all gathered. But Bethany and Damien are at the foot of the stairs now carrying Taylor, and if they could maybe get through the kitchen, they could maybe get out if you guys are able to keep the monster occupied in this room for a little while, because there's a side door out that way.
Okay.
Bethany, you would know this having been to Chase's house.
Sweet.
So
I think Raven is going to try and help Damien and Bethany. I think she's going to try and, like, run up. She saw that Bethany accidentally caught the attention of the monster, but I think she's going to go and try and help anyway. And, like, hurry them out the door and try and get them out.
Yeah, I think you're sort of hoping that whatever Aidan's doing, she can keep doing it. And maybe Hugo and the agent can also work together.
He's hoping that, like, the monster is already focused on them, and so her joining isn't going to make things worse, hopefully, and she can just help.
Felicity, you're on the ground behind the couch. How are you feeling? What's Felicity's emotional state right now? Is she panicked? Is she worried?
Felicity is a little bit panicked. She's a little bit panicked, but only because she doesn't think people took her warning seriously about not killing it. She's very adamant about, like, we should not kill this thing. Bad things could happen, she thinks, if she kills it. So she's mostly worried that because of what happened, her new friends aren't going to listen and they're going to get us all into trouble.
Then in that case, if you look visibly worried, Aidan gets down behind the couch with you for a second. She helps you sit up. She dusts off some, like, bits of pottery and ceramic that were just sort of broken and, around. The whole carpet is just littered with, like, detritus and bits of, like, photo frames and flowers. And she's going to use this move of hers from the Divine playbook. She sort of puts her hand on your shoulder, and when she talks, it's like all the sound in the room just sort of and is gone. And all you can hear is her voice. You're going to be okay, but you need to leave. I'm going to take care of this. And as soon as she finishes, the sound comes back and she stands up, and now you feel calm. You're not worried about getting in trouble. You're just, all right, I should probably leave.
Okay. All right.
So that's the move she's taking right now. And yeah, she kind of stands up to then get a better eye on the monster, who I think is going to use one of its moves now. It's going to use a custom move that I made it.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, I got all into the monster building part of the book this week. She, maybe not hearing what Aidan said to you, Felicity, but licks its toothed mouth into this sinister smile and just says, you will not escape me. and the entire room, the lights start to flicker, and the whole interior of the house starts to get much darker. And the Kitsune is using her Frighten ability. I'm going to need everyone to roll a Act Under Pressure move.
Oh, God.
Boy.
Cool. Oh, no.
Oh no.
I had my cool
With
score,
read a
so
bad
I-
situation, I get +1 ongoing if I'm acting on the answers. So if I'm trying to get out the way you described, does that give me the +1 ongoing?
I would say, yeah, because you're trying to
Okay.
leave.
Can you remind me how a
Just wanted
forward
to make
works?
Oh, wait,
So
I'm just gonna
+1
roll in here.
forward means on your very next roll, whatever it is, you get an added bonus. If it's +1 ongoing, then you have that buff or negative effect that will continue happening until the situation is resolved or whatever's causing it ends.
Okay, because apparently I get a +1 forward for successfully casting magic.
Okay. That's an 8 for you, Damien?
It's an 11 for Agent
I
Whitaker.
got a 6.
Okay.
6.
Hey,
Okay.
the children gotta get out of here stat.
I got a 10.
Okay,
I
not
got a
that
10.
child. That child can stat.
I'm trying to leave.
Oh, well, you're the only smart one in here.
It's an 11 with the +1 ongoing, but that's not relevant.
Okay. That's not bad.
That's good.
So Aidan got an 8, which I think is also a mix. Cool. Well, Bethany, you mark experience because you got a 6. Anybody else who got below a 7 should mark experience.
Yay, I'm at 2.
Oh, so I get experience too?
No, you're mixed, so it's not quite a failure. What was your score,
That's
Hugo?
okay.
10.
10. Okay.
I failed my only roll last session, so.
Oh.
That's all right. You're doing okay. You've put it all together, and you're just mission focused now. You and Hugo, actually, you're using some of that discipline and focus that you get from your after work karate, and you are not going to let this thing, break your will at all. Damien, you know what this thing is doing. It's a monster. You're a monster. This is a move that you have also used on humans occasionally, but this is a new situation, so I'm going to give you a hard choice. You're worried that maybe the longer you stay and help this random person, the less chances there are that the Kitsune is going to leave you alone after it deals with him. So I'm just going to put that out there and let Damien make his decisions based on that premise. Agent Whitaker, you rolled an 11, I think?
Sure
Is that
did.
right? Yeah.
I got +3 to cool. You can't sway me.
This is the thing that it tried to do earlier when it was warping the kitchen around you, and now you're clued in. You're like, oh, this thing uses fear. It's just using illusions. The light isn't actually dim. I've got this. So you're not frightened at all. If you failed this roll, I'm going to give you a -1 ongoing until you either get out of the house or the Kitsune is rendered unconscious. And if you got a mix, which I think is Aidan and Damien, yeah, for her also, she's sort of worried, the longer this goes on, the greater the chances that someone is going to die because this monster is clearly vicious and bloodthirsty. So I'm going to give her -1 ongoing because she's now so distracted on protecting that she might not be as good at fighting this thing. So that's the Kitsune's most recent move. Who wants to do something else?
I want to shoot it again.
Okay.
Oh,
I like that. I like that as the next move.
I will say, Agent Whitaker, he's here to protect people, number one, for sure, but he's also here to learn, right? The organization he works for, they're here for learning, and one of their big tenets is, if you can get a monster alive, do that. So we're going to be aiming for legs, arms, anything that's not in there.
I think also they're totally fine performing autopsies on creatures.
Don't get me wrong, they are. But I think a little bit of that mixed with, even though Agent Whitaker doesn't know who Felicity is and why she matters, but something about what she said is just okay.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm
because that's not something a normal person would say, right? Don't kill it, we'll get in trouble. Who would think that?
He's starting to get clued in between the lightning coming out of Hugo's Eskrima sticks, Demon Damien, angel wings coming out of Aidan. Yep. Maybe everyone here's magical.
Yeah,
May as
maybe
well assume.
you've discovered a rival organization that you were never briefed upon or anything like that. Like, yeah,
Like,
the
we're in quite a
situation is as
hotbed right
strange
now.
for you as everyone else, I think.
We've never stumbled into something so dense with information. We gotta
Right.
preserve every little bit that we can. That's kind of where I'm coming from here.
The debrief on this is going to be extensive.
Like, as soon as this is over, it's gonna be, nobody move!
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, let's roll
So,
some...
clearly kick some ass if you're going to fire your weapon.
It's a 7.
All right. Well, it's a
Mm.
mix. So what is the harm for your gun?
It's
on
2
this?
harm.
2 harm. Okay. Where are you shooting this thing?
I'm aiming for the legs, I think. Hinder mobility, that kind of thing, and they're still a big enough target.
So you get it. I mean, you're a decent shot. You get it right in the its left leg because it's turned now to face the kitchen, and it lets out this like it's like a like a fox getting kicked. It's very sad sounding, but it is a monster.
I
so
feel bad.
Don't worry about it. Also, you notice that while the bullet did penetrate, and it seems to have it's now bleeding, it was like you shot an ox, not this live, slender creature. Clearly, there's some thick hide or magical defenses that are keeping all of the harm from going through, but definitely harmed, at least a little bit.
Okay.
She's gonna turn to attack you, but I'm gonna sort of interrupt that and have Aidan roll to try and protect you.
Oh, thank you, Aidan.
She wants everyone to be safe. So let's see. If I want to protect, that's just a basic move. Oh no.
Oh no.
All right. It's okay. Aiden's tough, but she might not be that tough. That's a 6. Well, that's fun. Aidan gets some experience. I'm pretty sure it makes it worse.
Or it could just mean it doesn't work. It doesn't have to make things worse.
Protect someone. On a miss, you end up making things worse.
Oh, well, there it is.
But this is okay. The kitsune turns. It's going to attack you. It leaps with its claw to slash at you. Aidan is there. She's just there in the way of it and gets completely clobbered by this claw attack. She goes flying. You're pretty sure if you got hit by this, you would be dead. And you're not even entirely sure she's not, because she goes through a wall. The dust and drywall and everything goes everywhere. And she just kind of is now in the kitchen, slumped up against the cupboards. Probably she hit it hard enough that there's water spewing from the sink. And I'm going to say that the making it worse, she managed to keep you from getting harmed, but you're going to get -1 ongoing because now you think that you let somebody die.
That's legit.
Yeah, Aidan took a hit there.
Can Raven go check on her?
You'd like to stop helping them get Taylor out?
Yeah, Raven was just walking with them, kind of. They seem to be holding Taylor just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Raven would, if she saw Aidan go through a wall, she would leave them and rush to just make sure she's breathing.
Yes, you may do that as the next move.
Do I have to roll to check on Aidan?
I will say that that's a act under pressure, right? Because you're not a medic. You're trying to figure out if she, is dead, has a concussion, all this stuff.
Yeah. I think Raven's plan is, whether she's alive or not, is to drag her out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a 10. I don't know if I still have the +1 ongoing. If I do, it's an 11, but without it, it's a 10.
I don't think you have an ongoing bonus, or unless it's from one of your moves that you did.
It was, from reading a bad situation.
Okay.
If I'm acting on the answers that I got, then I get +1 ongoing.
Gotcha. I don't think you're acting on that question at the moment. This is sort of a different action you're taking. You run over to Aidan. You kind of prop her up. She
check her pulse, see if she's breathing.
Yeah, it's weird. When you run over to her and you go to check her pulse, she grabs your wrist and looks at you, dust in her hair and everything, and she's got a little bit of blood coming down, but she just looks at you and she says, "You have to get out," and stands up as if nothing.
Okay.
And she does that thing where when you put your hand, because you're worried, you're like, my coworker is dead, holy shit. You run over and she grabs your hand. "I'm fine, you need to leave." and kind of shoos you out the,
I think Raven would
the
still
screen
try
door.
to like grab her wrist.
Are you trying to
and
pull
be
her
like,
along?
No. Like, yeah, I think she would. Like, she's listening to her, but she's still like, yeah, but it's dangerous. Like, you need to come with us.
We'll get to that. Anybody else want to make a move? Hugo, your spell worked, but this thing is still kicking.
I'm trying to figure out if it makes more sense to try to fight or to contain. Have they all made it to the kitchen already?
Aidan was thrown there. Raven is in there. Damien and Bethany, I think, are sort of frozen in like not a doorway because there's no door, but it's like, one of those open plan downstairs where it's like a frame that you can walk through into the kitchen. So they're sort of on the boundary of living room and kitchen. They got to get across that kitchen and out the door to be outside.
And there's only one way into the kitchen, right?
From this room, yes.
Okay. I guess I'm going to just try some more magic in this case. This time to bar a place or portal to a specific person or a type of creature.
Ooh.
So I want to bar the kitchen off from the kitsune.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm trying to find the actual ruling on use magic for the initiate. But I guess you're just pulling from like the basic move, use magic.
Yep.
And they can do that because of... Do you have that old black magic as a feature?
I do not.
Okay. I do like that you have it, though. I don't want to, because that's the weird thing about this game. Like, they say use magic as a basic move, but then they're like, but, monsters might not have it. And, it's sort of, tough where you're like, oh, yeah, they can totally do that, or they would need, a special thing. But we're gonna develop Hugo's magic, I think, as we go. What were we gonna say?
Since it's a basic move, can anybody use magic?
Anyone can as a move, but it sort of needs to make sense with the story. So, Bethany is playing a mundane, right? If she wanted to use magic, she would have to do that in a situation where, she had a magic thing. Or the, activation of the magic was just, draw that symbol in the doorway, whatever, But, she can't just, sort of throw a firebolt at somebody and be like, I'm magical now.
So cool. Plot twist. I was always magic.
But it's not clear. With people like Hugo, where it's he's in this ancient sect that have been teaching people how to fight monsters for generations. And they probably know how to teach you magic.
Oh, yeah.
And I like this you won't cross maneuver. That's very, Exorcist Constantine
You
style
shall not
magic
pass.
stuff. Yeah. Okay, so describe... Well, roll first. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I just love magic. I want it to happen.
Oh, good. We got an 11 this time.
Ooh.
11? Wow. See, Hugo's a pro.
+2 is helpful.
Okay, so what is this ritual that you're doing to keep this kitsune from entering that space?
It's a similar thing to the last one, but instead of... You know how those electric fences work?
Yes. With electricity?
Since we had decided to tap into electricity before,
yes,
it's going to crack the sticks together, hit the ground again, have a current pass towards that wall and the door opening, essentially, and just coat the area.
Dog activated.
Do you go over there to be in the door frame?
I can if needed.
I kind of like that. Maybe even it's a thing where with the sticks you rap, and you're kind of almost drumming on the doorway, right? To create this sort of static net, and then just slam the sticks down, and it sort of the kitsune sees that go down, realizes you were the thing that shocked her before. She didn't quite see oh, somebody cast a spell, but this is a very obvious one where it's you can't come in here. And so she just sort of snarls at you, looks at Agent Whitaker, who, despite the claw attack, seems to not be as wounded as she maybe thought originally, and just has his gun trained on her, waiting for another good shot as people are running around, right? You don't want to just be unloading willy-nilly. She is backing up a little bit and moving towards one of the windows to the house. She's got a spellcaster. She's got this guy with a gun. She's maybe reading the situation herself and being they've got the upper hand. I'm outnumbered. I've lost the element of surprise. For whatever reason, the kitsune is backing off a little bit. The darkening effect, for those of you that are still under that influence, is still there, but she's not making a move towards that now barricaded doorway.
Which doorway is she making a move towards?
She's moving towards actually one of the windows on the far side of the living room.
I look at Damien and I say, There's a side door through the kitchen, get him outside, and I actually run through the front door, if that's possible.
So you're going to split up?
Yep, I run through the front door and I start dialing 911.
Fair enough. You have a -1 ongoing. Why don't you roll manipulate someone? Because you're trying to tell a very independent demon what to do.
And as soon as you go through that front door,
he's going to want to go through that front door.
And that's plus charm.
Yep.
But it's not good enough. It's mixed. It's all right.
It's mixed. They'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show you mean it.
I take off my Kappa Alpha Theta pin that is on my hoodie because it is an organization, and I pin it.
You can tell Damien's been eyeballing it.
I pin it onto the suit that's over Taylor. I look Damien dead in the eye and I say, "Welcome to my sorority."
All right, Damien, if you do what they ask, you can get the mark experience because it's a success. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Damien is all aboard. He's got to help his sorority sister in any way he can.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Good.
Love that.
So I mark experience, and then I'm gonna run with Taylor the way.
With Taylor out the door, yeah.
Yeah.
I think at this point, Aidan is gonna not shoo you away, Raven, but just sort of like forces her hand out of your hand. And she just like steps through the hole that she got like thrown through that wall, looks at Agent Whitaker, looks at the Kitsune. I might have her read a bad situation. Actually, no. She's going to use magic. On a 7 to 9, which is what she got. It works imperfectly. You choose your effect and a glitch.
Ooh.
All right.
I love the magic glitches.
Yeah, they're fun. The magic draws immediate, unwelcome attention. I like that. When Aidan steps through that hole in the wall, you see Agent and probably Hugo too, since you're in that living room area now. You're the only 3 left in this space. As she steps into the room, you see that her normally brown hair has taken on this golden radiance and is glowing a little bit. Her fist, similarly, is also glowing with that same radiant aura, and her eyes are filled with that intense honey amber color. She says to the Kitsune, "Leave. Now." You see those angel wings spread behind her, this shockwave. It doesn't knock you over or anything, but you feel this like warmth just like spread through your body as it passes through you. And the Kitsune scowls and like does a fox shriek, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to kill my throat. It dematerializes before the wave can hit it into sort of a swirl of cherry blossom petals that then are sort of just swept out the window by the shockwave, which then shatters every window in the house.
Oh, that property damage.
There's your unwanted attention, Aidan. Good job. And as you guys are bringing Taylor outside, you also feel this like wave kind of pulse, and you see, and like you look out at the transformer on the, one of the poles, and it sparks and pow. You see some lights in like outside people's houses kind of go out. This big crash, basically, of glass, and a transformer blowing happens, and the Kitsune is gone. It has escaped, and you're now left in this yard, sort of the side yard. The 2 of you are bringing Taylor outside.
So Damien, having brought Taylor outside, is going to place him on the ground, and because he can go incorporeal, he's going to go incorporeal through his clothes completely, so they drop to the ground, and then he's just going to like throw the suit on.
Okay.
Super fast. Adjust the pin.
Yep.
Property damage, assault and battery. Now public indecency.
Yep.
and then go back and carry Taylor back towards the van.
When you're outside, actually, Bethany, as you're calling 911, it's like it's rung, it's picked up, and just as you're about to say like where you are, that wave, and your phone dies. It goes out.
Okay.
Agent Whitaker is going to jump up when he sees Aidan come out and immediately look to the nearest person and say, I have a first aid kit in my truck. Get it for me immediately. And he's gonna run up and like realize she's not actually.
There's nothing wrong with her.
Can I investigate a mystery and try
I
to
would
see
love if you did that.
where the kitsune went? So,
Sure. Are you going back into the house? She told you to leave, but you're sort of just hovering
I don't think
behind
I left. Yeah.
You kind of poke up from behind the couch like, whoa.
Yeah. So I have the sight, so my spirits can help me to investigate a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't give me any pluses or anything, so I don't really know how they help me, but I guess they do. They help me some way.
This is the vagueness of this game that is a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah, so it says...
We'll just figure it out.
The spirits you see, you can communicate with the spirits you see, and they can give you more opportunities to spot clues when you investigate a mystery.
Okay.
And I can also see invisible things. That's also...
Ooh, useful.
Oh, that's good. Plus sharp. So I got a 12.
Nice.
Great.
Hell yeah.
And your spirits are helping you. So you get up, and the monster's not in the room. So immediately your next thought is, are my friends okay? And you kind of glance around.
Yeah.
None of your human friends are in the room. You see Ghosty, however, and Thomas is your little dragonfly squirrel.
Tom, yeah.
Yep, Tom.
I love Tom.
They're both in like a ficus in the corner of the room.
I love them so much.
And they peek out from behind a leaf, just sort of like quivering and like, whoa. If you ask them like, where'd she go? They kind of look at the open window.
Question.
Yeah, they look at the open window, and there's just like a couple of those petals left now, drifting through like the breeze that's left over now with all the windows open. It seems like whatever this kitsune did, she was able to just like vanish on the wind.
So she's not invisible?
No.
Okay. My second question, what was it going to do?
You also got a 12, so you can ask any questions, not just the listed ones.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Is that an advanced feature? Or is that just a feature?
Yeah, on a 12 plus. It says advanced.
So that only happens, it's like a thing when you level up, you can choose to make a basic move, an advanced move, and that means when you succeed on it like that, you get to use the advanced special power of it.
All right,
Gotcha.
so
yeah.
Then I'll say, what was it going to do?
What was it going to do? This is going to be sort of Felicity putting together the mystery a little bit herself, too. It seemed very intent on hurting, or at least reacquiring Taylor. You know that Taylor came here to talk to Inari, and that Inari was there when whatever killed Chase. So you can kind of infer from that maybe it was going to kill him.
Okay, cool. And those are my 2 questions. So it went out the window. It was going to kill Taylor.
I will say there's a hidden connection, I'll tell you that. There's something else going on here that you guys haven't picked up on yet. May become obvious later, but Agent Whitaker.
Agent Whitaker is going to pull a tape recorder out of his pocket and start taking down, a list of events. This is Agent Whitaker reporting on the murder of Chase Warren in where are we? In Autumn Falls. I need all of you to make statements for me. This is not going into the police, into police records, unless you want it to.
Aidan sort of, like, after you, like, pat her down for a second, just kind of gives you, like, well, I don't know what to tell you, and, like, goes over to help Felicity up while Felicity's having this, like, mystery thing go on. Hugo, I don't know how you're reacting to Agent Whitaker's request, but when you say this will not be going on police records, you hear all faintly in the distance the sound of sirens.
Yep, so Hugo's going to pick up a blossom and run.
Okay.
Well,
Is he
fair
gonna hop
enough,
on his
I
bike?
guess.
He's going to get on his bike and go.
Thanks for leaving me behind.
He doesn't know you that well yet.
It's true.
That's fair enough. All right, you
We
hop on a
rode
bike.
together.
Where do you go from there? Are you trying to, like, hide your, are you zigzagging? Are you, like, headed to a specific place, or?
He's just trying to get as far away from the area as possible.
Okay. Bethany, you see Hugo dash out the front door, hops on his bike, and just takes off.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. But, hey, good news. You were trying to call the police. They're on their way.
Thank God. I don't need the police. I'm here for the ambulance because I'm worried about Taylor.
Okay.
So, the police aren't going to do shit. Like, they will just be like, oh, this sounds like a break-in. And I'll be like, probably. And then they'll be like, dope. So I just need the ambulance is what she was calling for.
Yeah.
On that note, there is a first aid kit in Agent Whitaker's truck. And with all this, with everyone scattering, he is going to actually go out and try to heal up Taylor, whatever's left of Taylor.
So let's see. Let's get track of everyone who's still in the space. Aidan is sticking close to you, Felicity. They'll probably follow Agent Whitaker out, at least to the side yard where I guess Damien has just put Taylor down in the grass and is changing.
Agent Whitaker walks out.
I don't know how much of a lead I got.
Back inside.
Yeah. Damien is just putting on a suit that is like 2 sizes too big for him because Chase was like a linebacker, and I don't think we described Damien as a very like swole individual.
Nope.
So yeah, it's just this big suit. It looks kind of okay being a suit and everything, but it clearly doesn't fit you. It wasn't meant for your frame. Raven, where are you at with the sirens and everything coming? And
I think as soon as she hears the sirens, she is going to grab Aidan's hand because she was Aidan's ride, and I think she is also going to grab Felicity because she saw that Hugo left, and so she is stuck there.
Okay.
And she's going to start bringing him towards her car. She's going to, like, look at Bethany and look at Taylor and be like, you got this? Like, ambulance is on the way? Like, we're out. And she's
I'll say this. Agent Whitaker, when you go over to Taylor and, like, the suit is now off his face, and so you can see, his shirt is shredded in the front of it, but he's not bleeding anymore because if you'll recall, last session, Damien did some magic to heal him. And so what's there now is this like green sort of slime that's just like on his chest. There's a little bit of like maybe some lighter colored skin, like maybe a scar in the pattern of those like raking claw marks. But he doesn't seem wounded. He just seems to be like sort of out of it.
Whitaker is going to look at this. He's going to look up at Damien and sort of like make the connection. And he's going to look back at the sirens in the distance and he's going to say, there are police on the way. If you don't want this going on the rest of your record, you might want to run along. You're in enough trouble already.
Sounds good.
Okay, interesting. Aidan looks at you, Agent Whitaker. I wouldn't let that one out of my sight. And she kind of eyes you suspiciously, Damien. It's not often you get a fallen walking around in the broad daylight.
I got back up.
If he sticks around, and I'm aware that he's not exactly what he appears to be, but if he sticks around, he's going to go back into police custody, and I don't think I can get him out a second time. Or, well, I didn't get you out.
Excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's... I don't know if we'll be seeing him a second time.
She kind of glances at your big truck. Could you take him with you then?
Can I drive?
Absolutely not. Not open for debate.
But at this point, I think Raven is like tugging on Aidan's, like, we gotta go.
Oh yeah, she's herding the two of them to the car.
Yeah, I watched them leave, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so the three of them all climb into Raven's car,
and she just like throws it in reverse. And
Aidan is like picking drywall out of her hair and just like flicking it out the
Whitaker's
window
like,
as you
wait,
peel
what's your
off.
name?
Yeah.
Wait, who are you?
Wait! Oh, my job!
Raven's just like, don't answer him. Don't answer any questions.
All right, we'll work with what we got. You get in the car.
Agent Whitaker, you're left with Damien and Bethany once again. I love this trio.
I look at Damien, I look at Agent Whitaker, and I'm like, great. I'm with a dad and a homeless person. What exactly? Look, I have a lot of questions about you, my friend.
Damien, you need to hide yourself. If the police find you, you're toast. You're toast. And I can't.
Don't get in the car. Jeez.
Go. Bethany, do you and I want to explain what happened to the police here?
Yeah, I'm great at lying.
I don't think we need to lie exactly.
Oh, okay. We could just tell them that there's a monster. Like, is that okay?
We could tell them there was a break-in.
Well, there wasn't, but no one broke in because they just kind of went into the house. Things were broken.
So we are lying. I'm going to tell you this, Agent Whitaker. You're going to have to spin this with the most, like, polished agency bullshittery that you can cook up, because no forced entry, massive internal damage to the house, power knocked out.
I have a -1 to charm. I can't explain shit. All right, everyone, we're going.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we just taking Taylor to the hospital?
Yeah, we're
Where we
taking
go?
Taylor to the hospital.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, Taylor's fine.
Oh, he's fine. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm not there.
He's fine.
He's not injured. I mean, he's not conscious, but he's
Let's
breathing.
take him to the hospital.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable leaving someone who's been attacked, regardless of their mental or their physical condition.
The monster seemed very intent on getting him, and you probably don't want
That's
to just
good,
leave
yeah.
him lying in the lawn.
Excellent. Take Taylor.
I can't just bring a boy home to my house.
We're going.
It's a very long road leading up to their house, apparently, and the cops drive very slow.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a
Gotta
small
be safe.
town, you know. You're not sure when the call went out. It's also, what you're hearing is, like, the siren of the station.
Also, like, Bethany didn't even give an address.
And you don't even know if it was Bethany's 911 call.
Oh, that's true. Could have just been all the gunshots.
I mean, why don't you, man, there's no perception check. I'll say this, Agent Whitaker. As you get into your car, a woman from across the street is, like, outside on her porch, and she's just giving you all the stink eye. She's in, like, slippers and a bathrobe, right? She's, like, clearly, like, was, like, sitting down for the evening to watch, like, Jeopardy or whatever, right? And
Yeah,
she's
'cause
just
it's, like,
she's
7 or
just
8
like
p.m.
staring at you, kind of looking nervous with, like, the phone in her hand. She's talking, probably describing all of you.
Evening, madam.
And she just says, "Your car doesn't have any plates."
Sure doesn't.
And it's just like, yep. And you put your shaded window up and drive away.
Sorry, the agency will pay for whatever.
Hi. This ad break is going to be a little different, mostly because we don't have an ad this week. So instead, I'm just going to celebrate this show and thank everyone who's helped make it happen and everyone who is listening, which makes creating the podcast worthwhile. If you're listening and want to support us, please reach out to us on our various social media or through our email, which is thestorytellersquad@gmail.com. We can feature your small business here if you like. We did that for our photographer friend last week. Every little bit of revenue or support we can gather will help us afford upgrades to the quality of the show, whether that means better recording equipment or commissioning musicians and artists to create some content for the different episodes. On a personal note, I want to thank everyone who reached out either after or in some cases right in the middle of listening to the first episode, just to tell me that you enjoyed the story. It means the world and keeps all of us excited about the project. So that's all for now. When this episode first airs, it's coming right at the end of an unprecedented couple of days in our country that have just been really scary and frustrating. So I hope maybe listening to my friends and I tell a story can be a small escape from worrying about the real world. Stay safe out there, adventurers.
We have three groups. Who wants to go first in dealing with this aftermath?
Oh, God.
You guys have all just had your first experience with the supernatural and almost got arrested. Gee whiz.
Gee Williker. So I'm in the car with Raven.
I think Raven's just gonna ask Felicity her address and just be like, where do you live? I'm bringing you home. Like, very serious.
Yeah, okay.
It's just like, I'm done. This has been crazy. Where do you live? I'm bringing you home. We're calling it a night here.
Yeah, I think Aidan, because what's the seating arrangement? Raven's driving. Aidan's probably in the front, Felicity in the back.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
Your spirits are playing with the seat buckle on the seat.
I love them.
Yeah, they're great. Aidan has been quiet. She hasn't said anything since you like got her to get in the car finally. She's just been sort of like picking glass out of her clothes and like, trying to dust herself off out the window without getting too much in your car.
I appreciate that.
So Felicity is gonna kind of put her. She's sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
Because she wants to be able to see
How I
both
knew
of
that.
them.
Yep.
And so she's gonna put her hands on either one of the seats and kind of lean her way forward.
Mhm.
And say to Raven, excuse me, new friend.
Are you wearing your seatbelt?
Yes, it's the waist one. So we're okay. I'm afraid we might go to jail.
Why would we go to jail?
I saw it.
Like you saw the blood house?
Like I saw the blood house, yes. You're
Awesome.
catching on.
Apparently I am.
But Ghosty was gone. And I don't think it would be a good idea for us to go to jail.
Yeah, I don't want to go to jail either. That's why I'm trying to get you both home so we can have alibis in case the police ask and we've just been home this whole time.
But
we just don't have to be involved. They don't need to know that. It's Autumn Falls Police. Have you ever met one of them?
No.
They're not the sharpest tools in the shed. It'll be fine. I've gotten out of every speeding ticket I should have gotten here just by smiling a lot.
So I should smile a lot when they ask me if I broke into that house.
Yeah, and say you've been home.
But I haven't.
It's okay.
I think at this point you give like Aidan a look and she is so like not with you in that moment. Like her hand is on her head and she's just sort of given that like blank middle distance stare. Again, very quiet, hasn't been contributing to like the discussion or anything like that. And normally she's pretty chatty. Like you guys talk at work all the time.
I think Raven's gonna see that and she's gonna like turn, and instead of trying to get Felicity's address out of her, she knows where Aidan lives. She's like driven her home a couple times. I think she's just gonna be like, let's get you home. Like I think you.
Yeah, Aidan lives in like it's one of those like renovated mill buildings that's just been turned into like apartments.
Yeah.
Near a small, river that sort of flows around the edge of town.
Yeah, I think Raven has taken her home enough times, and it's a small enough town that she's just gonna be like, yeah, this is priority now. Like you need to get home first. I'll deal with Felicity afterwards.
Yeah, I think in like 5 minutes go by, right? Just sort of quiet, and she kind of looks up. Are we going to my place then? Yeah. Okay. That that's a good idea. You guys should stay with me.
I was just gonna drop you off and then go home. My parents are expecting me at home. I'm usually not out really late. I usually just come home after karate. I know I'm an adult, but I still live with them and I respect them enough to tell them when I'll be home. But like, it's a weeknight. I have work tomorrow. I really can't have a sleepover tonight.
I will stay.
Great.
Okay.
One less stop for me on my way home.
And she kind of looks back at Felicity, and when Aidan looks at Felicity, she looks not worried, but like there's more to her expression when she looks at Felicity than when she like is just talking to you, Raven.
I'm sure a lot of people look at Felicity like that.
Yeah, right. You're sort of inferring a bit there. Listen, I really don't think you should go home tonight, Raven. I feel like we need to talk about what just happened.
Yes, you have wings.
Yeah, Aidan, do you want to, I don't know, maybe share?
Yeah, I want to shower first. I want to, that was rough. And she kind of, wipes the blood that was on her, forehead away. And there's no cut there anymore. But she's just, getting it off her face because she, catches her reflection in the rear view. I'll make some food. We can talk about everything. I just want to keep my eye on you, too.
Raven's just, staring at her. And then she looks up and she realizes it's a stop sign and it's not going to turn green. And she's like, oh, all right.
Yeah. Yes, good.
Just
all right,
like
let's
so
jump.
out of it.
Yeah, let's jump to Hugo. I want to know where our expeditious museum curator is off to.
So, odd question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that mill, by any chance, the same mill where Hugo lives? Converted mill building?
Would you like it to be?
For the shenanigans, yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is good. So I think what needs to happen then is as you like realize, Raven, that you're like stopped at the stop sign, Hugo kind of like comes up to that same intersection on the bike. And it's just like
a little ring ring.
Yeah.
Raven just waves with his like
yeah. And just kind of like gesture like going home, and he's like, yeah. It's like, okay. So you drive there, and Hugo, you'll catch up eventually. Do you do anything on the way first? Do you call anybody, talk to anyone? Do you stop somewhere before you end up home?
So he's not really going to go anywhere. He's going to take a few looks at that pedal, just because, and then he's going to be scratching his wrist a lot.
Okay. All right. Then we'll get to
Bikes
more
take a while.
Yeah, we'll get to that when we return to the apartment complex. Bethany, Agent Whitaker, Damien.
One hand on the wheel, one hand on the tape recorder. Reporting on events concerning the death of Chase Warren. Contact took place in the residence of Taylor, whatever the fuck his last name is, at 2345, where we encountered a large vulpine figure with above average intelligence, possibly the true form of one Inari Mizaho. Witnesses to the event include myself, one Bethany Miller, one Damien Edgecrest, one Hugo Rashad, who I'd encountered a few nights earlier, and Bethany, you wouldn't happen to know the names and contact information of these fellow teens, would you?
And they're in their 20s, like.
Yeah, we're like 23, 24.
I mean,
love that college graduates.
We're teens.
I love that you think they're teens, though. That's so good.
Of these fellow 20-somethings.
You fellow kids.
Fellow kids.
Just keep calling us teenagers. It's great.
But for our audience and anybody listening, everyone here is like 22 or above, I think.
Bethany, answer me.
I'm basically leaning over to change the radio stations during the recording until I get to Ariana Grande 7 Rings, and I'm like, this is a bop.
Bethany, please.
Oh, there's so much space on this recording.
While you're talking. I do have their contact information and names, or at least I have one of theirs, and then the other one, I have an emergency contact information from camp.
Do you have their names, please? Full names, if you can.
I don't have to give that to you. That's it seems very personal.
So at this point in the recording, Damien forgot that this is a audio medium, and so I'm here to describe to you all the delightful visual gag that he performed, wherein Damien inflated himself much like a beach ball in order to get the suit to fit him better.
Agent Whitaker's eyes keep sliding to the rear view, like.
Yeah, every time you look back, he's a little taller, a little wider.
Damien, before I give anything away, let me first start with, hey, Damien. As part of sororities.
Yes, Sister Bethany.
Sister Damien. As part of our sorority, one of the first rules you get to learn is snitches get stitches. So you don't share anything about anybody unless you think it's absolutely necessary for their health and wellness. Have you dropped Taylor off by now, by the way?
No, we're picking up right as you leave the neighborhood. So Taylor is in the back seat with Damien.
Miss Miller, I don't know how to tell you this is absolutely for the health and safety of everyone involved.
Things first. We get Taylor to safety. We make sure he's well enough because I do not want him missing more shifts than necessary. And then I will tell you everything I think you should know.
All right. Well, sorry. Just absorbing that information real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not an agent, so I'm with her.
Okay.
I have a list of demands I'm thinking up, and I will tell them to you in exchange for this information. I say this out loud. This isn't just Stephanie's thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Miller, what are they?
We can talk at the hospital.
The hospital's about a 7-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to listen to
7 minutes. And I crank up the Ariana.
This song is a jam.
Right? I knew you were a perfect pick for my sorority. I'm so glad you're my pledge.
Good.
I prefer her earlier work.
So, we'll pan away from that car for a moment because I feel like it's just poetic that we panned away from both cars. We are going to, for a moment, resume the scene away from all our hunters at the residence of Chase Warren. Sheriff Orion Blake is there in his squad car, and another squad car is rode up. It's Officer Rawlings and Officer Dodge. The two officers are putting up a yellow tape perimeter. They've got a couple other crew people who are just sort of like looking over the scene, putting little like number markers down, like, oh, what was this? Or, evidence stuff. And that woman, Mrs. Worthel, who is one of the people who lived in that neighborhood next door, she's talking to the sheriff, and she says, and then they drove away in that big black truck. The sheriff kind of nods. From the description, it kind of matches one truck that he knows of in recent events. And it's a small town. Raven, you mentioned earlier that you got out of every traffic ticket you've ever had. Have you had a run-in with Sheriff Orion Blake?
I don't know if I've ever had a run-in with the sheriff. I think it's always been like the really low level, like the newbies. And they're like, you are going like 7 over. And I'm like, I'm just on my way to karate. I don't want to be late. Like, I've never seen you around before. Like, are you new to the force? That's so cool. And like, they're just like, you know what? It's fine. We'll let you go. I don't think she's ever met anyone like up there. It's always
there,
the
never been
newbies.
brought in, but
oh yeah, no, she's never gotten in any
talked her way out of it. Yeah.
trouble.
So he probably doesn't recognize your description, at least not right away, or Felicity's or Aidan's really. She's also describing Damien. Every time she mentions one of you, he's kind of like writing very intensely. What is something that might have been left behind that scene that would tie one of you to being there?
Ooh.
All of Damien's clothes.
I mean, all of Damien's clothes. Which, what were you wearing at that point? We're going to have to keep a running tally of how many outfits you've changed into. Because didn't you take the clothes of one of the officers? You took their car, at least.
I would have had to take their... Because I imagine when he goes through, like, a wall, he has to leave the clothes behind.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have had to change into, like, I guess...
Is he naked every time he goes through something?
I feel like we want to change that.
This feels
I kind of love it.
It's hilarious. If you want that, Anders,
if it makes
fine.
anyone uncomfortable, absolutely
No,
not.
it's definitely gonna. I'm gonna say this.
Having to
It's gonna make
continually
it
steal
very
clothes.
good. That's all. It's. I'm not uncomfortable. I don't. And anyone else is speak up now. But the only thing I'm like cautious of is that if we set that as the precedent, it's definitely going to affect things going forward.
I feel like being a demon though, like he's definitely like Ken doll in it. So like
oh, that's not what I was
maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Here's my thought. Walking through walls is already a badass power as it is. It needs some downsides.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or
Yeah.
upsides, depending on how you look at it.
I'll say this, Damien. You can have the choice. I don't think you choose very often to care.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's clothes there. It's like a police officer's uniform, I guess, just like lying in the grass. Rawlings is over there, and he's like looking at the sheriff like, what is going on? The sheriff is maybe placing a few of you at the scene. What actually went down, he's having trouble putting together, because like I said, the doors just open, but then there's all this damage, and like clearly signs of a fight, and blood on the ground, and like the bath is still running, which is now overflowed at this point, and like spilled all over the place, and like, contaminated the crime scene because the water is getting everywhere and everything. It's just, they're gonna have a hard time puzzling it out.
Does he have Agent Whitaker's like phone number, like calling card?
Did you give him your contact info?
Oh, for sure.
That's a good point. I think he steps away from the scene. He's like, "Thank you, Mrs. Worthall. We'll take it from here." She's like, "When's my cable gonna be back on? I don't gotta miss Jeopardy." Like, she's like, classic busybody. Nobody likes Mrs. Worthall. She was a mean second grade teacher. So she goes back. He steps away, leans against his squad car, pulls out his phone. And Agent Whitaker, you get a phone call. It says O. Blake on the caller ID. I think you guys are maybe like, you're pulling into the hospital parking lot.
Agent Whitaker speaking.
Agent Whitaker, I've got a lady here who says she's seen you at a house, which seems to have been exploded. So,
That's terrifying.
You want to shed some light on my current situation there, Mr. Agent, sir?
Yes, indeed. We got a call. I didn't get a call. I got word that there was something happening at the residence of Chase Warren. Went to go see what was happening, seeing if it would pertain to any of my dealings. Found Taylor, whatever his last name is, on the grass, in a very injured condition, and I'm currently taking him to the hospital. Actually, I did come by. I'm sorry I didn't warn you sooner. There was simply we saw a man in trouble, and we decided to act on it as soon as possible.
I wasn't aware that your purview included medical emergencies.
I'm just a civilian doing the best I can to help out.
I'm sure. Who else is a civilian with you doing the best they can? You said we were taking him to the hospital.
Bethany Miller, she's the one who got the call.
I see. So you've taken
fucking drag me into this.
You've taken a witness away from the crime scene of a break-in, and he says that part with a question mark. He's like, nah,
Bethany wasn't a witness. Bethany is the one who got a call, and we're bringing a man who is currently very injured, or possibly injured. It's a little hard to say right now. I'm not a doctor. To the hospital, so he will be in good enough shape to give you a statement as soon as he is well.
I'll tell you what. I don't know what sort of government agency you're working for, but why don't you come down the station and bring that young Bethany with you? I want to ask her a few questions too, if you don't mind.
Agent, I want to talk on the phone.
That sounds reasonable.
I want to talk on the phone. I want to turn.
Quiet, Bethany.
We have a turn.
All right.
It's fun.
As soon as everything's squared away up here, we'll ride on over.
I'll leave it to you. And hangs up. At that point, like the two officers kind of like are calling to him, and he walks towards that.
Sorry, Bethany, you're involved now. I mean, sorry, Miss Miller, you're involved now.
That's a good line to cut on. We'll jump back to Felicity. Yeah.
Cool.
You guys pull into the apartment.
So I have a question. I have one of my abilities or one of my moves is called hunches. So when something bad is happening, it doesn't really specify what that bad thing means or just about to happen. Anywhere that I'm not, I can roll to try to see what's happening. But then because of my premonition from earlier, I can take +1 to prevent that from coming true.
Okay.
Is something bad going to happen if we're not there?
I don't think so. I mean, nothing bad is happening. I mean, in degrees of severity, right? Like you guys are kind of on the run. Some of you have been identified, but but you didn't do anything wrong. And while Felicity might be like worried still because she had that vision of everybody in jail, right? There's no like immediate threat because you guys are going to stay with Aidan. Cool. So yeah, you pull into the parking lot for the apartment complex of the mill building. I would say probably as you're like checking in at the front door, Aidan has like a little key card that opens it up, and you guys see Hugo sort of round the bend on his bike. But Aidan nods to the security guard at the desk and brings you guys to her place. And I don't think, I can't imagine she would have ever had you over, Raven.
I don't think so. I think I've always just dropped her off outside. I knew the building and like what door she goes in, but I've never seen her place before. We're not that close. I just give her a ride.
Right. So when you get there, you get in and it's very sparse. There's not a lot of like clutter or, really anything. The walls are just like the mill brick wall, but then there's like a very simple sort of gray and brown and tan like carpet on the floor, white couch, a couple of soft end chairs and things like that, dark brown coffee table with a bowl with some stones in it, like those rounded soft pond stones. It looks the way an apartment would look if you were showing it to be sold. It doesn't really feel lived in. It's just sort of very pristine, right? There's no dust. It's like has sort of a fakeness to it. But she goes over and like opens a cabinet takes out some glasses, fills them with water at the sink, sets them down on her little like island. The whole thing is sort of one big room, and then like a room off that is like the bathroom, and another one off that is the bedroom.
I'm very curious what Aidan's going to cook for us.
She opens the fridge, and out of the freezer section pulls like, a frozen pizza. And when she opens the fridge, you don't see a lot of food in there. There's like a 6-pack of some generic beer or like a cider or whatever, a Brita filter. That's it.
But she had frozen pizza.
She's got frozen pizza. She's got some like ice cream and like a couple other like, frozen things. She doesn't have any like fresh produce. There's no like leftovers or anything. Yeah, so you can ask her questions about stuff. There's a painting on the wall. It's massive. It's like the one piece of decoration in the whole place. It's not like rendered realistically. It's sort of expressionist, but it's of these like horses on the plains. There's one that's like a painted, brown and white horse, and then like a darker brown, blackish horse, and then like a herd off in the distance. And that's like there on her mantle. There are some things that look almost like museum pieces. There's a little knife or something that's just like held in an iron stand, and there's a feather sort of dream catcher that's been pressed and put in a frame and is like resting there. But yeah, again, aside from that, it has a very like sort of we're trying to sell this place look to it. So there's a couple like ficuses, but they're those like dry grass ficuses, so they're not like green or anything. They don't have to be watered or whatever. As she's like prepping, she like gets the oven going and like puts the pizza in. I'm gonna shower and then we'll eat. You should call your mom and let her know you're having dinner at least, right?
Yeah, we'll do.
Miss Aidan.
You can just call me Aidan.
You have wings, yeah?
She blushes a little and she's like, yeah, I do.
And that's like cool, right?
Is it? She doesn't know. Like, she almost looks to you, Raven, like, is it? Like, is it cool I have wings?
Yeah, Raven does like a little, yeah.
That's cool.
We thought it was pretty cool.
So why is your house so boring?
Raven's just like so much secondhand embarrassment. She like can't handle it. She's just like drinking the water and
does she like spit a little out first and then like go back to drinking it? Yeah.
Felicity's just sitting there like what?
Because there's no plush toys. There's no little figures. There's no lava lamps. Nothing fun.
There's no string lights.
There's just a scary painting. It's very big.
Oh, I thought that was nice. I don't need a lot. I don't like collect anything. So
I think this dagger is cool. Maybe a dagger collection. Could be
like,
something.
You might cut yourself. Be careful.
I'm gonna touch it. It's okay.
She says, listen, and she like kind of goes over to you and like hands you the glass of water. I'll put some music on. She, like,
I'm very interested to see if it's boring.
She like opens a drawer, takes out an iPod, and then like sets it in a little dock, turns it on, and it just is playing some like soft piano, but it's got like rain sounds behind it.
Is it elevator music?
Yes.
It's not elevator music. It's like 10-hour piano relax mix.
Like when you're trying to go to bed.
There's like some like bird chirps and stuff. And she kind of just like looks at Raven like she's clearly out of her element. She doesn't really have guests, it seems, but she just sort of takes off her hoodie and like hangs it up, and she kind of like puts her finger through a hole in it and like looks at it kind of sad, like, I like this one. And so she's like, I'll be right back. And she like starts changing and goes into the bathroom to shower and get the drywall out of her face.
Have a lovely shower.
Yeah, so that's Hugo, you are home now. You key card into the place once you lock your bike to the rack and everything. What are you doing?
It's time to make a call.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I'm curious if Hugo is the type to lock his bike outside, or if he's one of those people that like carries it up the stairs. And
So
I feel like I need to know that about Hugo.
He leaves the bike outside, but he takes off the front wheel and brings it up.
Every time?
Every time.
Every time.
Almost like a ritual practice.
Thank you.
So you make a call to Mr. Argyle, the museum curator, and your mentor in the art of monster hunting. He picks up, and like if this were a TV show, it would cut to like him on the phone with like the phone in his like cradled in his shoulder as he's like flipping through an old tome of something. Hugo, what can I do for you, son?
Sorry to call you so late, Mr. Argyle. We have a problem.
Really? What kind? He like sets the book down on the table and just is like taking notes on something.
Somewhere over 6 feet tall, many tails, furry, disappears into blooms of petals.
Just so you're like have your details straight, it only had one tail, but the rest of the description and what you're saying, he sets his pen down. Sounds like a fox spirit. Where'd you encounter it?
At a place apparently called a murder house or blood house.
That's very vague.
Some house that weird names.
In town?
Oh, in town. It was a regular residence house. I don't actually know who it was though.
And he kind of sits in a chair and like does that thing where he like scoots on it on the wheels and like spins around in mid thing and like lands at a computer, starts pulling that up. Been a murder recently. Have you been following that?
Feels mostly connected, I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. Kitsune are known. I mean, they are hunters. They feast on the human heart.
Why now?
Do you have your spirits zoology text with you?
Hugo takes a moment. He goes to his closet, opens up a chest at the bottom of it, files through some papers, and eventually finds it.
It's like an old journal, too. It's clearly not a published book. It's just someone's notes on various monsters and spirits and other, supernatural findings. I want to find the section on Kitsune. And he doesn't have the same book, but he goes to a chest of drawers and opens one and starts like filing through. And there's all these different scrolls. Some are just paper that are tied up with leather cording. Others have like the wooden top to them. And he eventually finds one that's done on like reeds of bamboo. And when he undoes it, there's some cloth that's been stitched to it and creates this sort of scroll that he rolls out on his table. It's one of those like light tables. So it's like lit from the bottom, but also has like the, fluorescent light above it. Why don't you roll me investigate a mystery would be the move.
Okay.
Because you guys are now together going to sort of research the Kitsune and see what these scrolls can give you on them. Aside from just like folklore, like you're looking for the juicy hunter details that you can maybe use against it.
Okay. 10.
10. All right. Hold 2. You can ask 2 of those questions.
I guess the first one to ask would be, well, we already have an idea of what it was going to do. It seemed kind of obvious. What sort of creature is it?
So that's a basic heading. You read in your book, and he kind of corroborates on this ancient scroll that he's pulled up, that Kitsune they're nature spirits. They're not demonic. They're, sort of just a predatory spirit, but tied to the energy of the planet and the earth and nature. And they are often very patient hunters. They take their time with their victims. They like to, sort of groom them, because as everyone knows, a broken heart, a heart going through betrayal is the most delicious to a kitsune. And so they're very powerful, very magical, and, they can create illusions. Everything you're reading at first reinforces what you experienced in terms of your encounter with it, your fight. You'll note one like interesting thing it says is that to see a kitsune in its natural form without any illusion is a very rare and dangerous situation to be in.
I guess for the other one, let's go dark side a bit. What can hurt it?
What can hurt it? So now at the bottom of the scroll, because the scroll that he has like drawings, and it's like a painting. It's basically telling the legend of the kitsune, but there are in like red ink little notes and things pointing and circling. And you have the same sort of situation with your book, which is sort of done more like a Darwin's journal thing, where it has like a list of like known weaknesses or whatever. The book says the very first thing you must do is get it to revert to its original form. It cannot be hurt when it is disguised in its human guise. On the scroll, it shows the kitsune standing next to a river. And in the river, while like above the river is this like beautiful, sort of geisha woman in like a fancy kimono and her hair done up. But in the river is sort of this fox demon drawing. And you put together that, oh yeah, the bathwater. And then on his thing at the end where it's explaining, and it has like an arrow pointing to the demon shape in the water, the note that he reads you, it says, the Kitsune's power lies in her tails. And to wound her there is the best way to sort of rob her of her magics.
This is a cutting kind of thing, isn't it?
Well, as you know, they perfected that sword for a reason.
I hate swords.
Should I call for help?
I would say yes, but I have no idea where it went.
I'll alert the orders in the vicinity. If they catch it on their radar, maybe they can alert us. For now, I would try and set your wards. I'll do the same. And hopefully we can catch this thing before it kills anyone else.
Thank you. I'll try to contact you in the morning.
Of course. Be safe, Hugo. And he hangs up. As we leave, Hugo sort of contemplating a petal in a book. Agent Whitaker, you guys are at the hospital now. Taylor has been admitted. You're sort of just like saying like, okay, and like returning from the desk where you would talk to like the attending nurse, and you go and sit down in the waiting room. Bethany and Damien, you're also there.
So what's a fallen? He's looking at Damien. Stop chewing.
Damien has a pack of like snack machine pretzels.
Because you can just reach through.
Yeah,
and just
they're
pop them
so
off the
old.
thing and then get them at the bottom.
They're so old and bad.
Actually, I might also need to make a call, but I don't want to leave I don't want to leave Bethany and Damien out of it.
You can totally call after you have this little conversation with them in the waiting room.
Cool. So what's a fallen?
Well, so I was a demon, and that was going well for a while, and then it stopped going so well. So here I am, and things are a lot more interesting here. You guys have so many cool toys, and do you have an extra pen?
No, sorry, I only got the one.
Okay.
Do you have a pen,
there's
Bethany?
just so many cool things here to see and do, and I just, it's way more fun than having to follow orders and run around, all that stuff.
So were you summoned here, or did you just pop up?
Look, that's a little personal.
I'm just curious as to how you got here.
That's fair. It was magic. Magic brought me here.
That's like I caught the bus, like
yeah.
It's like so generic.
Your own magic?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And you just came here because you weren't satisfied with
I visited in the past, and it's way nicer. It's just so cool.
How many of your kind?
I feel like you say that, Damien, as you pick up like a golf magazine. It's
yeah, absolutely.
It's like, reading room material in the hospital. It's just like so cool, and it's just like,
fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
You have so many pairs of outfits and clothes. Do you golf, Agent Whitaker?
No.
Okay, I was just hoping.
That guy fucking golfs. Agent Whitaker golfs. Have you looked at him?
I don't.
He only golfs for networking.
For
this is just Bethany
people.
on her trying to get her phone to work again. Like, I bet you fucking golf.
So what's being an agent like? How does your organization work?
Well, I work for the Eastie Agency. It's privately. It's a family company that sort of works around the United States of America.
Well, I can tell because of the accent.
Oh, I'm not. I came over across
the pond. Big family?
No, they don't actually have any sway in London. That's just where I'm from.
Oh, okay.
But no, they just investigate things like you, really.
Oh, thank you. I want to investigate you too.
All right, that shit you tried to pull earlier in the jail cell, I never want to see that shit again, all right? I just want to clear that with you right now.
If I do it again, it won't make you happy. Got it. Yeah.
Well, okay, whatever.
Let's check in with Beth. Let's check in with Bethany while these two gentlemen are having their sort of like battle of wills over a bag of pretzels and Golf magazine. Where are you at, Bethany? Taylor is in the hospital now. They're checking him over. They got that weird slime off him. They're running some tests on that, but they don't think it's poisonous or anything. The nurses just came out and told you recently that we're going to keep him on fluids and we're going to monitor, his heart and stuff, but he seems okay. You said he got hurt? So they're a little confused because you brought this guy into the hospital and he's not injured. He just has a torn shirt and slime on him.
Yeah, I told him it was something with his old football buddies. They were messing around and I got worried because they were doing really stupid things and I just came in at the end, so I don't really know what happened.
Yeah, okay, good. Good cover.
Do I have to roll for that, or is that just are we gonna let it fly?
Well, I wasn't gonna have the nurses be that suspicious, but if you want to roll manipulate someone to see if you can get something out of it.
Technically, I benefit the most when I don't lie, but that's okay. I'm not really gonna tell them the truth here. That's a 10. Yeah, I'm fine. I did great.
Yeah, they admit him is the result. They're gonna check his vitals every couple hours and just wait for him to wake up.
If it's okay, I'm going to call Raven.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say while Damien and Agent Whitaker are having their sort of conversation, you managed to get your phone started again. Yeah. It seems whatever knocked it out is didn't damage it.
Yeah, I dial Raven's number, which is still from middle school, my speed dial number, one of my speed dial numbers.
So that's fun. We'll do a sort of split screen to there. At this point, Raven, you've been sitting on the couch, just sort of, again, taking in Aiden's strange apartment. At this point, she's come out of the shower. She's going to put on some fresh clothes, and your phone rings.
I answer.
Now, does your phone have Bethany's number still in it?
I think it does. I think she's still in my contacts. Just as Bethany, no nicknames. Just it's a small town. I should have her number saved. I couldn't bring myself to delete it.
You definitely changed it from BB to Bethany though.
Yeah, out of spite. But I still have it saved, so I know it's her. I let it ring a few times, and I stare at the screen.
Yeah, you must. You have to.
And then I look around. And I'm like, well, we're not in the middle of a conversation. I'll answer.
Okay.
Second I hear the pickup. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you honest to fuck just leave me behind with someone dressed in bullshit weird clothes who phased out of his clothes? I did see him. He was naked for a second, and some old man that I've met for 5 minutes. Are you serious?
Not that old.
Hello?
No, I don't want this whole hello thing. You know it's me.
No, I know it's you. You could have said hi. Jesus, we're having a weird
over on the side of the road to make sure you weren't dead, and the first thing you do is ditch me. Are you serious? This isn't middle school, Raven.
I did not ditch you. Before we left, I made sure that your friend was okay and that you were going to wait until an ambulance got there, and then I got the people that I came with, and I left.
Well, we didn't wait for a fucking ambulance. Instead, I went in this car with these two people, one of which is a fucking secret agent for supernatural creatures, and the other which I think is a demon. And I had to sit in the car between those two with nothing but Ariana Grande on my side, waiting while my friend might bleed out, only to hear that he's fine. He's just going to be traumatized for, I don't know, ever. Do you know what kind of impact this has on someone's psychological functioning?
So he's okay? The guy?
Yeah, he's fine. Right? Of course he's fine. But mentally, I don't know. He's going to have years of therapy, and you left me behind. I could have been killed. You left with Aidan, who, what the fuck is she? She could have killed you too.
Dude, I have no idea. I'm at Aidan's right now, and she said she's going to explain everything.
And when you say that, she comes out of her room, toweling off her hair. Who are you talking to? I'm going to explain. Who are you talking to?
I cover the thing. I'm like,
is she all right?
Gosh,
she mouths it.
I'm holding the phone away so she can't hear.
She points at the phone, or she's like, put on speaker.
And I put it on speaker. I'm like, hey Bethany, you're on speaker.
Why'd you put me on speaker?
and she's like, no, don't.
Aidan's here.
Who's fucking listening? Aidan?
It's Aidan and
it's Felicity. I'm okay too.
Felicity.
Thank God.
It's the three of us. We're at Aidan's house.
Never have I prayed for something harder. Look, Raven, I know that there's this whole thing where you're going to be mad because I moved to a better place and you're still salty about it. But look, you could have died. I saved your ass because I don't know if that thing would have come running to your car. You could have been dead. I am here with two strange men who I do not know, and you just left me here with my friend who could have died and my strangers. No, I don't want you to come pick me up. I just want you to know that I'm mad.
Aidan says to Bethany, she says, "Where are you?"
I'm at the hospital.
And when you say that, Raven, Aidan, light expands from her chest, and for a second, she's gone. She appears in front of you in the lobby of the hospital. She looks around and she says, "You should come with me." And she puts her hand on your shoulder, and she looks at Damien. "I guess you too."
And she puts her foot on Damien.
I need a photo of Aidan doing a high kick.
And that glow happens again, and whoosh, you guys are gone. And the golf magazine just sort of flops to the floor as a nurse, as the nurse comes around the corner, and she says, "He's awake, sir." And we cut back, and whoosh, and the three of you, now 6 of you, are all in Aidan's
drops their phone.
Are all in Aidan's apartment. And she
I
says,
couldn't keep the magazine. Your powers suck.
and she just gives you like
Hugo here? Hugo's not here.
Hugo is not.
Okay.
But she grabbed the three of you. "I thought we should all be here for this."
Yeah, actually, I look around and I say,
and she like
"Where's
takes
the
her
nerd?"
hands. She takes her hands off slowly, and she's like, "I'm sorry. I don't usually do that without asking."
I raise my hand.
Consent
Really
is
fast.
important.
Where's the nerd who owns the library or whatever?
How loud are they all
Be
being?
here for this too.
I mean, we might start to make noise at this point, because up until this point it was just a phone call, so you probably wouldn't have heard like Bethany's yelling yet. Hugo?
He was yelling while the phone was on speakerphone.
Yeah, I mean,
You might have heard some.
Or if we teleport and we don't land on the ground, like we land like 2 inches up, then we all three of us go, boom.
I was gonna say, how serendipitous do you want your like proximity to Aidan to be, Hugo? Do you want to be like her downstairs neighbor? Like,
Is her apartment an interior facing apartment?
in what way?
Are there any windows in it?
Yes, there's a window and then like a door that leads to an interior hallway. So it's just sort of a long rectangle, and you're either on one side of the rectangle or the other, and you have a window and a door like on opposite ends of your apartment. They're like big mill building windows that let in a lot of light.
So it's either parking lot facing or like river facing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock on the wall.
Okay.
I think when Raven hears a knocking through the wall, she's just gonna sit on the floor and like put her head between her knees. Like she dropped her phone when everyone like teleported in, and she's just like, "What now?" And she's just like deep breathing, just like pretending she's not there.
Okay. And Aidan says, "Oh, yep, I should." And she goes over Hugo and she gives you the like signal, like you should come over. I'm gonna say that you and Aidan have some history, and we'll get into that at some point. But I like this sort of neighbors thing going on.
A history. They were roommates. Oh my god,
they were roommates. Amazing. So yeah, you come over, you knock, she opens the door, and kind of just lets you in wordlessly, and closes it. And then she goes over to the oven. She takes out the pizza, puts it on the island, and she's getting water for everyone. Make yourselves comfortable. I guess we'll start hashing this out.
Okay.
Can we get some names first, please?
You just hold out the recorder pleadingly.
Oh, no. That's the fun part.
Oh.
He puts his hands back in his pockets. It's record while it's in the pocket.
Sneaky. Okay.
Oh, I'm Damien Edgecrest.
I know who you are. Thank you for sharing.
Aidan will bring over a plate that has like a slice and a glass of water for you. She hands it to you. She says, "My name is Aidan."
Can I get a last name?
Brightwood.
Pleasure to meet you, Agent Whitaker.
And when she looks at you, you're kind of like, you feel her seeing into you. You're not sure to what degree, but when she says like, "Nice to meet you," you feel that she genuinely is glad to have met you.
Whitaker recoils slightly.
Oh,
wholesome content.
Okay. And she's like, "Are
Because
you
like
okay?"
if I'm correct, this is the first time I've felt that kind of like thing from her that she seems to do to everyone else, right?
Well, she's not using that move in particular. I'm kind of just like for lore. But I like the idea that you're like tuned in to like supernatural thing, and she's some sort of weird, whatever. So
he just regards her like, this is part of what she is and what she does. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So she goes over. She hands Felicity some food and to go with her water. Raven, have you like done that thing where you like noodle off the couch and just like slide onto the ground in front of the coffee table?
I think she was standing up. When she put it on speakerphone, she had like stood up. So she's kind of like next to the couch now, just like I said, head between the knees, not looking at anyone, just breathing. And she's hung up the phone with Bethany.
Okay.
Whitaker looks over. Like,
and
and you are.
Just like without looking up, she's just like, Raven, Eugenia.
Tell him nothing. I still have demands.
Bless you. No, shut up, Miss Miller. I don't need you anymore.
Oh, snap.
No, that's a lie. I'm sorry. I do still need you.
Felicity is going to just like stand up and she's going to say, hello, I'm Felicity Starnbrook. This is Ghosty and this is Tom.
No one regards the critters. They just look at you the same way everyone else has looked at you your whole life. What a weirdo. Aidan gives a little nod, and they kind of like, if a spirit that has a skull for a head could blush, it would. Yeah, is that all the introductions, I think, of people who haven't met Agent Whitaker for those purposes?
That's everything.
Once everyone has food and you're all sort of either standing or situated where you're going to, Aidan steps over the back of her couch and then like sits cross-legged in it. So now we're all introduced. Some of your worlds have gotten a lot bigger today, huh?
Yes.
And she regards Felicity and Bethany and Raven in particular. Are you all okay?
Raven just
I still have 2 harm done to me. I'm still bleeding.
I would imagine you've gotten that treated at the hospital.
Cool.
Someone probably bandaged it, but being a law enforcement, you were like, thank you, but that's good enough. I'm good now.
Is my 1 harm gone too? But I've gotten a little Band-Aid.
Yeah, I think, let's save that for you, Felicity. Agent Whitaker, you are down to 1 harm, just for like the purposes of like, it's in a sling. Felicity, when you must like rub your head or something, but you're probably on the couch already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Aidan's going to use a move.
As soon as Damien sees that Aidan's like going over to address, he goes, no, I want to do it. And you just see him go and like spit this green glob into his hand. Like, no, I want to heal her.
If you go to move towards Aidan with your hand faster than anyone can see, her hand has your hand by the wrist and she's like turned it into like a wrist lock. Don't touch her. And then with her free hand, she places her hand on you, Felicity, sort of at your head where you got bumped. And this like gold pulse, a little similar to what she did in the living room, Agent Whitaker and Hugo, but much smaller. And it just seems to radiate from her hand for a minute into Felicity's like bump. And when she takes her hand away, it's gone.
So all of a sudden, Damien looks over at Agent Whitaker's arm in the sling with this green glob of slime in his hand. I really want to heal you, bud. I just gotta heal you, and just like runs and just.
You're able to break free from her grip, and you go over and touch Agent Whitaker's thing. So you're gonna have to use magic. Aidan got a 12 on her thing.
Thanks, Aidan.
13.
Enough. This green slime kind of seeps into the bandages, and you feel something happening, Agent Whitaker. It doesn't hurt as much.
I'm gonna take the sling off and just give my arm a little test shake.
It feels fine.
During this time, I sit down on the floor next to Raven.
Yeah, and so Aidan says, I guess that's as good a start as any. I'm Aidan Brightwood, and I am not human. And she kind of looks at you, Damien, expectantly. Yeah.
I'm Damien Edgecrest, and I'm not human either.
I'm Felicity Starbrook, and I can see the future.
When you say that, Felicity, Aidan just kind of gives you like a wide-eyed, like, okay, just, And she like sits back down and she's just like, oh boy.
Bethany, Raven, do you have anything you want to share?
I'm Bethany Miller, and no comment.
Miss Eugenia.
I'm just feeling like a really inadequate, boring human right now. I run a blog. She just like takes a bite of her pizza and it's just like, oh god.
Can I read it?
Aidan kind of like under her breath. She's like, it's okay to be human.
Wait, is Hugo here?
Hugo is here, yeah. He came in.
Hugo is currently looking out the window.
Yep.
Mr. Rashad?
Yes.
Are you human?
Anything you'd like to share with the class?
Oh, I'm definitely human.
Oh, no, I figured that. Well, all right. That actually, all right.
Cool.
Are you?
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to clear things up, I'm human too. Just like
That's
a special kind, I guess.
Thank you, Miss Stonebrook.
Anytime.
Aidan looks at Damien and she says, how long have you been on Earth, Fallen?
I don't count.
Okay. And she kind of looks at you, Agent Whitaker, and for a second glows again, and you're all thinking, like, is she going to disappear? But she doesn't. She just sort of glows. It's as if her skin is emitting light from a bunch of LEDs, like, inside her. Completely diffused, but she's just glowing, and it's this warm, golden, sort of bright white light in certain places. Her clothes that she's wearing are suddenly not there. You blink and you miss it. She's in this sort of loose-fitting white robe, long sleeves. It's got like the hot shoulder cut out because everyone loves that shirt. It almost, when you look at the material, looks like there's like shimmering lines of some sort of metallic thread or circuitry. It's very strange to look at up close or to like try and pick out any particular detail. And folded on her back are these wings. And she just holds that position for a second. And she looks at Damien kind of expectantly, like, your turn.
So you look over at Damien, who's like this really big guy in a suit. So you can see his eyes glow bright green, and he sort of begins to shrink, and the suit just like flops to the ground, and you guys sort of go like, oh, he's gonna be naked again, really? But like his skin also turns green, and he just sort of goes down into this green blob with like bright green eyes.
He's like a little Slimer, just like a pile of goo.
Wow, I love him.
It's not exactly what I was expecting.
When that happens, Aidan speaks, and her voice has this like ethereal echo to it for a minute. And she says, you're one of Leviathan's. And when she finishes saying that, the light vanishes and she's back in her like hoodie with flannel and cut off short. She's herself again. I imagine at that point too, like Damien suddenly is also back to himself.
Yeah,
like it's a very quick transition. So was I right? Your Leviathan spawn?
Was.
Okay, that's good. I like that. All right, somebody else do some talking.
Yes, tell me about your blog, Raven. I am so excited and curious.
I just point to Felicity and I'm like, this one said she could see the future. And
hello.
You're worried about my internet habits?
I'll get to the future when I get to the future.
Oh, we're starting at the bottom of interesting things and working our way up, are we?
I've never read a blog before. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's, well, the one that I am on that I made is, it's for people to post about their monster sightings. So I guess I have found the right group of people to hang out with.
What's this blog called?
It's called The Watcher.
Oh no.
You are the owner of The Watcher?
Mm-hmm.
I have some colleagues who would love to meet you.
It's really not necessary. It's fine. I'm not a very interesting person.
I've been reading your blog for 2 years now.
Really?
Miss Eugenia, there is a subsect of the EC family who gets most of the missions from tips from your blog.
She kind of blushes a little bit, and she's like, "Really?
No one knows who you are, but I. Oh, this is. Oh, I'm gonna lord this over their heads for ages.
You can't tell them."
Aidan smiles and comes over to you, Raven, and just like sits back down on the couch. She's like, "I told you it was okay to be human."
Agent Whitaker.
I guess.
We need to keep it that way.
What do you mean?
People read things. Sometimes people shouldn't be reading things. Sometimes some things are not meant to be read. Sometimes if people write things that they shouldn't be writing about and the wrong people find out.
I think I'm following, yes.
Hugo was the first person in a very long time to find out what I really am. We were tracking the same monster and just ran into each other.
Not long after I got into town, actually.
Wait, Hugo, you hunt monsters? Are you kidding me? I've known you for
let's backtrack on that. I thought you were just a librarian. Yeah, can we back up on that? Because I thought you were like boring and now you're kind of cool.
Blog.
Yeah.
No. We are past that.
So about that seeing into the future.
No, we'll get to that.
Hugo has the right idea. It's not safe for people to know about this sort of thing. Not a lot of people anyway. I mean, look at you all. You're all very panicked and freaked out, and she regards Damien. She says, "It's not safe to be dealing with them, but once you know, there's not much that can be done."
But we're panicking because we don't know anything about them.
If I knew even an ounce more about the creature we just faced, we could be saving lives.
So at that, Hugo's actually going to step out of the room, go back to his room, grab his book, and then come back in.
And you relay what you found out about the kitsune?
Yep, opens it directly to that page, puts it right in Agent Whitaker's face.
This is excellent. We should be working
Raven
together all the
scrambles
time.
behind his shoulder.
He starts copying the stuff down into his little black notebook.
Yeah,
Aidan,
well,
do you have a pen I could
I don't know
borrow?
that you would be able to copy it, Agent Whitaker. It's in
old
Han period, like Chinese. Like, it's
you
like,
hold this up to my face. I'm like, I can't read that.
Yeah.
It's just pictures.
Yeah, so Hugo translates essentially. Aidan actually holds her hand out. She says, "Could I, Hugo?"
Of course.
And she just sort of flips through it, nods like she's reading it.
Some details are probably a bit off, but we're trying.
How old is that book?
Who's we?
Where did you get it?
The book itself, I don't know how old it is. Some things have been added over the years. Some things I wrote in there myself. Some things other people put in. As for who we is, what do you know about, well, Agent Whitaker, you mentioned a particular family.
Natalie, what do they know?
The Easty family is aware that there are other people in the world who know about the supernatural. Some of them are black market traders. Others are supernatural business people, creatures, running fronts as like human or like businesses so that they can then deal with magic stuff on the side or to conceal whatever else. But they also have had contact and dealings with other people who show up, seem to know a lot about the supernatural, and maybe assist occasionally with a fight or, to subdue some creature. It's sort of not unheard of that what happened with you and Hugo has happened in the past.
I relay some of that to Hugo.
Yeah, you're sort of like we're not isolated, basically. Like you're not living in the dark. Like there is a greater world outside of your organization.
And we're open to collaboration.
Suffice to say, what we are has changed and fractured over the years, but what we're trying to do is help.
Well, good. We're on the same side then.
Can I be on the side too?
Hayden spits her drink in her cup for a second.
Whitaker's also not impressed.
Damien, was it?
Yeah.
Why would you want to help humans?
Humans are great. They have all the best stuff.
I think we should just try to keep everyone here safe. If that spirit has anyone scent, she might come after that person. And she makes it a point to look at Raven, Felicity, and Bethany.
I'm going to keep everybody safe, and we're going to work together on it. That much is clear to me right now.
Also, I'd say that in the efforts of trying to keep everyone safe, we probably should understand a bit more about who is who. So we have your wonderful blog and your fighting skills, which thankfully you haven't had to do anything with yet. We have someone who can see into the future.
Yes.
Let's get back to that, actually.
Okay.
Yes, I would also like to hear more.
Miss Starnbrook, the Eastie family takes a lot of public information. They take a lot of statements from the general public. So we get a lot of crazy people coming through claiming they see ghosts, see the future, this, that, and the other thing. I just want to make sure you're not one of those.
Oh, I'm not.
Can you prove it?
She did tell me about the blood house before we went.
I can prove it. I can prove it.
He has little creatures.
Tell him about.
He does have little
Tell him
creatures.
about what I did.
And Aidan kind of doesn't respond right away, but it looks like she's weighing what to say. Felicity is telling the truth. She is unique. And when she says that, your two spirit friends, D-Glamour and Ghosty and Tom, are sort of sitting on your shoulder.
This is
Aren't
Ghosty.
they just adorable?
This is Tom. I saved her life. It was fun.
That is fascinating, isn't that? He leans closer.
Yeah, the little fluttering squirrel with the dragonfly wings kind of goes behind her and crawls up into her hair again. But Ghosty kind of waddles on her shoulder.
I'm gonna pick him up and hand him to Agent Whitaker.
He's just a little
hello there.
A little nugget.
Oh, you're just a sweet little thing.
When you say I saved her life, Aidan is sort of I think maybe that's out of the bag now. But yes, you did save me a lot of trouble, and probably that bus driver.
You're welcome.
What the hell is this thing?
He's my spirit friend.
He's a nature sprite. They
Nature sprite, all right.
are all over the place. Normally they're not quite so forward.
These ones are special.
Yeah, how about that?
You've had them a long time, haven't you, Felicity?
Yeah, do you remember them from camp?
Yeah, I do when we were little.
That's where I met Tom. He came with me from camp.
When you mentioned that, Aidan is surprised. She's like, what?
Felicity knew Tom and Ghosty.
You're Felicity?
You're Felicity?
No, Raven. Felicity also knew Tom and Ghosty. Raven knew Tom and Ghosty.
I sometimes almost respond when people are trying to talk to Bethany because it's close enough to my name that I'm yes, no, not me.
But speaking of Bethany, Aidan kind of looks over at you. How are you doing, Bethany?
I think, is it okay if Bethany's kind of slipped outside during all of this conversation?
If that's what she would have done.
She probably, she slipped outside.
Okay.
Just to kind of take a moment.
I feel like we wouldn't have noticed you left until we turned to talk to you. We were also engrossed.
She could have, yeah.
Cool ass towers, yeah.
Yeah. There were definitely moments where there's something more interesting than Bethany Miller happening.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Can I Mirio through the wall and just be like, hey, psst, Bethany, is going outside. Is that like a sorority sister thing? Should I be out here too?
Hey, Damien. As a pledge, you don't have to be for every sorority meeting.
Okay. Sorry.
Not until you make your kite and your paddle. So
I will.
I do appreciate it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'll help you make both of them.
Yes.
You need to make sure you have your other pledges signed both. So.
Okay, we'll do. I'll let you get back to your meeting.
Thanks.
Okay.
I'm just texting. I'm like.
She's good, guys. She's in a meeting. It's pretty important stuff that I can't tell you about because snitches get stitches.
That's fair.
All right.
You do understand, I work for an agency that specifically specializes in learning about and dealing with situations like this. So I do have to report this. It won't be public knowledge, let me make that clear. You can't just open up the Eastie database and download everything. It won't be public knowledge, but it's part of my job.
Will people come to take Ghosty?
I highly doubt it.
Oh, that's fine then.
Though they will probably very much want maybe a written statement of how you came to meet Ghosty or information about Ghosty. They're not going to take it away, I imagine.
Okay. Then I'm fine with that.
But that's agreeable with you all?
Yeah.
I would prefer not to be in any sort of database. You don't think I'm a threat, do you?
We investigate more than threats.
It's fair, I suppose.
I can leave your name out of it if you'd like.
The name's not what I'm worried about being included.
I cannot recall the last time we've encountered any sort of celestial, angelic being. I'm sure they'd want to know about this and want to know.
As a note, they have never. And Hugo, until you met Aidan, also never. So, when you met her, your agency was, what is she doing here? Oh my, it threw the whole sect into disagreements and arguments about the nature of the world for a long time. Because as far as they know, Celestials are not supposed to be on Earth. The only way Celestial power has ever been present in terms of what the sect has done has been through compacts, very big rituals, and priests within the order who sort of contacted this divine energy. But the notion that an angel, right? No one has said it, but everyone is just sort of leaving it unsaid. Being physically there in the world and affecting things is not in any text at all. The most they've ever been have been messengers. They've never
the Bible.
And the Bible, right? They've never fought with people. They're just not around. They're in myth and legend and everything, but in the texts that matter, nothing. I'll say this, Hugo, because we're gonna have to work on what you know of her and what she's shared around you. But she hasn't said what she's doing here, why she's here now, anything like that. She's been kind of close-lipped in a similar way to how you've been close-lipped, right? There was a sort of a mutual, you're weird, I'm weird, we're gonna be roommates. And they were roommates. So yeah, I think also, Agent Whitaker, that you're dealing with something you've never seen before. And Damien also is a bit of an outlier. It's rare to see a demon not tethered to someone through a summoning, through a ritual, that sort of thing. These are two otherworldly creatures that are just here and loose, for lack of a better word. So, yeah.
Miss Brightwood, you have to understand, you, by existing, are groundbreaking. And all I'm going to say is if you don't want me doing my job and alerting the agency about your presence so we can get an idea of what's going on here, you'll need to give me a very good reason why.
Because I have been around for a long time, and I don't know your agency yet. If you can get me to trust them, then I will trust you.
I mean, they've been around a long time too. Just so that they're not new.
And she says, I don't doubt it. Any organization like yours has been around a long time. She kind of looks at Hugo. You're the first one I've met. And not that you should take any offense, but I don't know you yet.
All right.
I think you're a good person. And when she says that, you get that same feeling from when she like said like, it's nice to meet you. That she like means that and kind of like believes it inherently.
When you say you've been around for a long time, how long is a long time? Like you're not like mid-20s, are you? Let's just get that out there.
And she says, so how about that blog?
Back to the blog. Okay.
And she
That's
and
cool.
like
You don't have to answer. It's rude to ask people how old they are. I get it.
Yeah, she's just like, that was supposed to be a joke. A long time.
Yeah, it's not a competition.
All right, well, we got to get out. How long have we all been on Earth?
God damn it.
Are we talking like decades or like centuries or millennia? Just like a vague.
Were you there for the storming of the Bastille?
She kind of
I
like
have to know.
She's getting like real awkward. She's like, it's not. I'm never in like the right place. The world is bigger than your history lessons, if that makes sense.
No, that's fair. We can all be there for the storming of the Bastille.
She says, I'm sure it was interesting. And like she is blushing now, and she's like, I seem to miss a lot of what history considers important things. And she like goes over to the mantle where that like stone bowl cup was, and she like picks that up for a second, and she looks around. She looks at Hugo, sort of like a, what do you think? She's basically asking for like a vibe check, like Hugo's like intuition on these people.
So he's going to look at Agent Whitaker, look at Felicity, look at Raven.
This is great.
Yep.
Look at Damien. And then he's going to try to look out the door to see if Bethany's anywhere nearby.
Mm-hmm.
She's on her phone. She's outside the door, sitting on her phone, staring at her.
She's
Something on her cell phone.
Dissociating.
He's going to look back into the room.
She kind of nods, and she just sort of like puts the cup back down. The gardens were very nice until they were lost.
Okay.
Don't look at me.
Hugo is looking right at Damien.
Until they were lost.
On that note,
I don't lose things. I would take things. It's not. That's bigger than me.
I think that's enough about me. We should try and figure out how we're going to catch this thing.
someone was talking my ear off about motive. Miss Miller.
I step in. What's up?
You mentioned something in the car about something about exes and getting revenge.
Oh.
Where do you think Inari's striking next?
I don't know. She's a monster, but I thought it was pretty dumb that everybody was thinking about where anyone else was, because the first person you always look at in a killer is an ex. Haven't you seen How to Get Away with Murder? If we're asking the question of motive, then we have to ask why she was here in the first place and whether she had any potential to strike on this person in particular, or whether she's just hunting as the Fox Lady. And I look at Hugo, I'm like, does it say anything anywhere about whether they strike randomly on random people that they seduce or whatever they're doing? Or does it say that is there usually a particular reason why they pick someone?
They build them up so they can break them down.
Okay, but
all the sweeter.
You can do that to anybody. Everybody's emotionally weak and vulnerable, even if it's in different ways. Why would they pick him in particular? And if they're picking him, then of course they're going to pick all of his friends surrounding him, because all of them are overcome with grief right now. That's why they went for Taylor. It's probably why they're going to go for someone else on the football team, maybe his family, his parents. I would look into them particularly, but I couldn't tell you for sure. I would watch Taylor and make sure people are watching him to make sure she doesn't come back for him later, because he might have seen too much. Also, we're probably suspects as well for her. because she saw all of our faces and heard us yell each other's names across the room the entire time. And she knows me because I was friends with Chase back when the football team, and then I go in this long, my football team relationships.
Yeah. So we'll sort of like, we pull away as Bethany goes on a rant, and it's odd, right? Because this room full of strange and folks familiar with the bizarre, everything weird that's happened, and yet here we all are sitting in Aidan's very sort of pristine apartment with frozen pizza, and the most interesting thing right now is Bethany Miller describing the history that she has had with the football team. And we sort of pan out that hallway and go down the hallway, and the camera does like that trick thing where it continues, but now it's the hallway of the hospital. And Taylor is lying there in bed. Beep, bleep, bleep. From behind the curtain steps a woman with long, dark black hair, and she comes over and leans against the bed, and Taylor kind of stirs. She brushes the hair gently out of his face. And Nari, don't worry. Nothing is gonna get you anymore. I'm gonna make sure of it. And that is where we will end for tonight.
Fucking chills. Goosebumps.
So, episode 2, we're doing it.